Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Packernet Podcast. I am your host and resident panelist, as always, Ryan Schlip. Check us out online, packernet.com. Find me on Twitter, pack_data. Well, today is a big, fun, great day. Green Bay Packers open practice against the Seattle Seahawks in Green Bay. And Andy Reid almost just got shot, so there's that. Just real quick pulling up the news. That's crazy. Bullet fired through Kansas City Chiefs head coach Andy Reid's office, missing him by just 15 feet. Okie dokie. Jackson Smith-Njigba not practicing today for the Seahawks. Not really sure what's going on with him. Didn't do a massive deep dive, but to my knowledge, he's not injured or anything right now, so it might be a protecting him, load management thing for the game coming up. I'm not entirely sure. We'll see if we get some more clarity on that. Coach Matt LaFleur says he's a little less paranoid about training camp practice stuff getting out than he was in years past. That's nice to hear. Matt LaFleur on when Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, and Savion Williams will return to practice. I don't know day to day, he says. And if he did, he wouldn't tell you. So Travis Hunter has his helmet off watching practice. I'm not sure what happened to him. Looks like he's actually been out a while with an upper body injury. Fair enough. Seahawks guys are all out there riding bikes. It's always kind of a fun, cool kind of thing. Wonder if it brings the temperature down a little bit. It's hard to say I'm going to go smash these guys when you're riding a little kiddie bike with little kids running next to you, you know. It's got to soften you up a little bit. Drew Lock went and found the tiniest little bike, and he's actually riding it, which is hilarious. Usually you see the football players like picking those things up and walking them or something. Now he's riding it like a friggin' clown. Matt LaFleur on Savion Williams. He's been limited in practice. He's done a good job being engaged, and when he's been out there, we really like what we see, but it's been very limited. He's another one, you know, we talk a lot about, and granted it's because it's been multiple years, but talk about Marshawn Lloyd. I mean, Savion Williams started off in that weird red jersey thing, and then he came back, and then he went out, and he came back, and then he went out. I don't know if it's one thing that continually keeps cropping up, or if he's just consistently hurt, or what the situation has been with him, but it's frustrating because every time he's out there, it seems positive, just like with Marshawn Lloyd, but every time you turn around, he's not out there practicing. So, yep, and there's tackle Charles Cross carrying a bike, like I was just saying. And Jackson Smith-Njigba is out there. I spent so much time trying to figure out why is he not playing, and then Easton Butler says, never mind, went in early in pads now. Brandon McManus in pads today, so it looks like he won't be reffing this one. That was funny. They did a video. He was mic'd up as the ref. You should go find it and watch it. It's pretty hilarious. Marquez Valdez-Scantling making his return to Green Bay as a Seattle Seahawk. I guess they did add a 7-on-7 period so Jordan Love can get some work in with the other team. That was awful generous of the Seahawks. Packers legend Shamar Jean-Charles back in Green Bay as a member of the Seahawks. So we got several guys back. Xavier McKinney is practicing for the first time in 2 weeks. Love to see it. I'd rather he just doesn't practice, to be honest, but I'm happy. Ryan Wood says Xavier McKinney is dressed in pads for practice, did not participate in team walkthrough, but don't individual drills. I don't know what that means. His first reps returning from a calf injury, great sign for week 1. Matt LaFleur shares a hug with Cooper Kupp, who he coached with the Rams. Xavier McKinney back doing indie drills. We'll see if he does any team activities. Jared Bartlett not practicing, which is new. Lloyd, Banks, Anderson, Monk, Bartlett, Sorrell, all with the rehab group on the bikes. Savion Williams also back practicing, so there you go. Wes Hodkowitz with the full report here. It says Jordan Love doing his usual warm-up while Xavier McKinney performed indies with the safeties. New to the list, Jared Bartlett not participating. Banks, Monk, Williams, Lloyd, Sorrell, Brown, Anderson, Reed, Wicks, and Hobbs. Pup being Watson, Oliver, Williams. Lamar Jackson not practicing today. It was a bit of a scare with him having some kind of an injury. It sounded like it wasn't serious, and they all kind of breathed a sigh of relief, but not practicing today doesn't sound like great news. And off and running we go here. Kyle Malzahn says, what a throw from Malik Willis in the one-on-one period to the speedster Matthew Golden. Put it in the breadbasket as the rookie beat Demarion Williams. Got to pull up my Seahawks depth chart here, see if I can parse out what we're talking about. Looks like he is currently listed on the depth chart as a backup corner behind Devon Witherspoon. So I don't know if that's number 3, 4, or 4, 5, or 6 on the depth chart, but behind the 3 starters. List of updates from Herman. Matthew Golden just toasted Demarion Williams for a touchdown on one-on-ones with the in his first 2. Shepard wins easily on Shaq Griffin. Hartman with a smooth win. He's super impressive in one-on-ones. It's got to be Hardman. Cornelius Johnson, sick move for a deep touchdown on Josh Joby. Now Ben Sims toasts Ty Okada for a deep touchdown. Seahawks had some wins too, but who cares about that? Fair enough. Caden Sanilla says Packers D-line has been dominating the Seahawks O-line in one-on-ones. I love to hear that. Remember, I'm going to keep bringing this up. There was maybe 2 years ago, we heard how tough the Packers were. The D-line was dominating everybody. And then when they went to joint practice, the D-line couldn't do jack squat. That has not been the case this year. Eversol, I think one of these is a repeat, but Golden beat Demarion Williams on a go one-on-one. Good ball from Willis for a touchdown. Dobbs beat Witherspoon on a quick out to the pylon for a touchdown. And then he said same thing for Matthew Golden on the next rep versus Demarion Williams. Herman with another group says Heath wins for a touchdown. Kraft slips and Julian Love picks off the pass. Dobbs easy win versus Witherspoon for a touchdown. Golden with another win for a touchdown on an out. Hardman touchdown versus Kobe Bryant from Love. Seen that deep touchdown pass to Matthew Golden now a couple times. Still withholding judgment on the speed thing with Matthew Golden, but I think at the very least he has enough to where if he gets behind you, you're not going to catch back up to him. It's so hard to tell because as soon as the video starts and he's halfway down the field to the end zone, he's playing the ball. So, at what point are you not putting all the gas into it? I mean, there's no point running full speed if you're just going to outrun the ball. You know what I mean? You have to run underneath it. And in fact, you want to run kind of behind it a little bit so it's out in front of you. You don't want to give the defender any chance. So that's kind of the complication with the quarterback is you want to throw it out to where the defender can't get it and your guy can run underneath it. If you throw it too much underneath, then, if the wide receiver plays it right, he has to gear down, which is going to give the other guy an opportunity to catch up, which would make the receiver look slow when, in fact, he's just playing the ball. But as much as I keep wanting to try to find a way to gauge it, even on this play, and, he had there was no separation, really. It was step for step, but he was in front of him. He had him beat. But either way, like I said, it's not a foot race because he's kind of just running underneath the ball, so I can't tell. Again, the standard in my mind is always going to be Watson, who will sail past people and gain separation. Like with every step, he's getting further and further away from the person. But if Golden has the ability to get behind people, and if Jordan can just put it accurately on him, it's not really going to matter. As long as they can get in sync on that deep ball is going to be just fine. So, I mean, that was a throw from Malik Willis, but still, that's kind of I think that's sort of the standard for what you're looking for. It's going to fall a lot on Jordan. And by the way, I really want Watson back, and I want him to stay healthy. Because Golden and Watson could just be stupid for this team. I've seen like 4 different videos of that Golden thing. You could just tell how excited everybody is about that. Everybody's posting their video, reposting the video. It is a thing of beauty. Packers starting offense. Willis with Jacobs and Brooks at running back, Kraft at tight end, Dobbs and Golden at wide receiver. And then it's, again, Walker, Morgan, Jenkins, Ryan, Tom. I will say, as far as the whole left tackle battle, it's not a good sign that Morgan is not getting the opportunity at left tackle. They haven't switched this up since we lost Banks. Morgan has stayed. I mean, if they're switching, they haven't mentioned it, and it's possible that they are. But to start things off, Walker has consistently been the left tackle every single time. Eversol, I believe, is watching the Packers defense. Let's see. Darnold to Cup, complete for 15. Nixon tight coverage. Charbonnet short run to the right. Gary was there. Darnold play action, very short completion to Jackson Smith and Jigba. Charbonnet run left, stuffed by Quay, who ended up on his back. It says, I really can't see anything down here. Looked like Oladapo came clean on a blitz for a sack on Drew Lock. Drew Lock. Now he's got some offensive coverage. I think because he was saying he couldn't see anything on defense, so he went back to watch the offense. Willis rolls left, deep throwback to the right to Kraft. Looks live. Busted coverage. Witherspoon closest, gain of 25-ish. End around to Matthew Golden. Dobbs routed up Love. their safety, not our guy, on an out and up down the left sideline, got wide open. Willis hit him for a long touchdown. That's awesome. Updates from Herman, mostly nondescript start for the offense until Willis finds Kraft down the field for a nice pickup. Clifford finds Sims on a rollout on the next play. Seahawks defense all over a Davis-Price-Todd play to the outside. Willis to Musgrave on a crosser for a nice gain. Zach Cruz says concern level has been rising on the Aaron Banks injury. It's lingered all training camp, and he's missed at least 5 practices. There's no doubt about that. And to be fair, I mean, adding to that, the fact that they have locked Morgan into left guard may have something to do with the fact that they don't expect him to be ready to go week 1. That would at least make sense to me. I mean, you've got a very serious left tackle competition, and you're not even giving a guy who's done a very good job in the preseason a real legit opportunity to even win it. Why would you do that? Because you need a guy ready to go at left guard, and if you screw around with Morgan at left tackle and then throw him in left guard week 1 out of nowhere, he's not really going to be ready. And so at that point, you got a guy that's not ready in Morgan, or you throw what, Monk in there? I'm sorry, but I don't think anybody wants to do that. That may be the direction we're trending right now. At the very least, it's probably precautionary because they're not sure if he's ready week 1. I'm just speculating here that it takes a situation that I don't understand and makes me understand it, if that makes sense. Zach Cruz continues, also a reason I wouldn't even think about trading Rasheed Walker. I bet Jordan Morgan starts at least 1 game at a position that isn't left tackle this year. Why are you talking? Sorry, Kay Adams just popped up and started talking. She's at the Packers joint practice, I believe, so I wanted to have her thing up here just in case she's posting things. Nothing yet. But I agree. This is why you don't get rid of a Rasheed Walker. I don't know that you can keep a Rasheed Walker as time goes on, but as long as you can, you do. Malik Willis to Tucker Kraft again, who makes a nice jumping catch for about a 25-yard completion. Herman on that same play says Malik Willis rolling to his left throws a jump pass all the way across his body to his right, and despite that, probably being pretty ill-advised, Kraft made a beautiful adjustment, went up and snagged a big catch down the field. Tell you what, we're at about the 3rd way mark, so why don't we go ahead and take a break right here. We'll come back and do some more training camp updates. You know what I was thinking the other day, and this probably is something I should just keep to myself because I know she is like very well liked and respected, and it's one of those don't you dare say anything bad, and I don't necessarily mean it to be bad, but I feel like, you know who Kay Adams reminds me of? I don't know why this just dawned on me. Kathy from The Office. Her entire job in The Office was to be a giant flirt. In fact, her role when they opened the store was to go around to the bloggers and like start hitting on them. At one point she's like, I always get in trouble around bloggers. Whenever I watch her do an interview with Matt LaFleur or whatever, all I can think is Matt LaFleur's wife must hate her. No, just me? Okay. I don't think it is, but all right, that's fine. That's fine. I'll take it for the team. Just get back to the notes. Malik Willis is having a strong day to start team portion. That was in reference to the Tucker Kraft play, but still a truism. Herman update on the Savion Williams thing. I swore I saw Savion with the wide receivers during one-on-ones in pads, not actually doing a rep, but I have not seen him since, and Wes Hod has him out, so I get clarification. I'll let you know. Okay. Well, I was excited for a half a second there. Wes Hodkowitz says, nice snag by Tucker Kraft in the middle of the field. I don't know if that's the same one, but he says Reek Woolen falls afterward for a big gain. I'm assuming that means Tariq Woolen was covering him, which would be a pretty impressive feat. They've actually got a really good group of DBs there. Joby, I think, is pretty bad, but between Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen, I think Woolen maybe isn't quite as impressive as people thought he was as a rookie. But either way, those two guys make for a great tandem. And for the Packers offense to be doing what it's doing and for Kraft to beat Tariq Woolen, assuming that's what we're talking about here, even in practice, you feel pretty good about it. Crisp execution thus far by the Seahawks' first offense. No big plays either way. Oladapo and Enigbare with pressure for twos, then Enigbare swats down lock pass in his face. Doesn't sound like crisp execution by the Seahawks offense, but whatever. Willis just hit Dobbs deep down the sideline. Gorgeous play. Dobbs either smoked someone or blew a coverage, but he had acres of space. Great ball by Willis. Sanilla calls it about 30 yards. Wes Hodquist says he gets big separation on the right sideline past Julian Love. Eversole says Dobbs routed up Love on an out and up. It's the second time they've done that now. That's what this stuff's for, man. Give the Seahawks some different looks they're not used to. Haven't been practicing that one, apparently. Okay, update from Rob and Wes. He was in a helmet, but nobody actually saw him take any reps. May have gone back inside to work. Would say a good sign. He's doing anything but not a full return to practice. Hashtag it's complicated. It sounds like it's been that way for Savion Williams to begin with. I still don't understand the red jersey thing. It's been very complicated. Malik Willis finds Tucker Kraft again on a nice slant route. Herman says Tucker Kraft is tearing apart the Seahawks right now. Smith and Jigba converts 2 third downs, one with a one-handed sideline grab, then a leaping catch over the middle on 3rd and 9. Clark reads a screen nicely, and then flags fly on King in coverage. Big B says, you guys better draft Tucker Kraft in your fantasy draft because he's going to have a monster year. Kamal Haddon with a pass breakup and went right up to the Seahawks sideline and let them know. That's how it starts. Malik Willis just threw an absolute dot in between 2 linebackers to Tucker Kraft, who catches it and has been cooking against the Seahawks defense during 11-on-11s. Morgan in for Banks at left guard, which we already knew. Yeah, Wendell Ferreira just said it too. I mentioned this to Herman today. Left tackle battle will heavily depend on Banks' health. There's a good chance the Packers start the season with Walker at left tackle, Morgan at left guard. It is starting to look that way. Spofford says Haddon with a pass breakup in 2s, followed by a lot of trash talk. Wooden with a pressure, and Igbare gets in there for a sack. Then Ballantyne almost gets a pick off deflected slant. Great sequence by the 2s on defense. Sanilla says the Packers defense all around has looked really solid against the Seahawks offense so far today during practice. Spofford says looks like Wooden and Brooks have been rotating in up front on first defense with Wyatt apparently sitting out 11-on-11 work. Algersma to Nayer over the middle for a big gain. Next play, he gets sacked about 20 times before finally throwing incomplete. Now Clifford sacked about 20 times. Good coverage downfield from the Seahawks, 2s and 3s. Ryan Wood says Tucker Kraft having himself a day against the Seahawks secondary. Already 4 catches for about 60 yards. Melton and Sims are the number 1 flyers. Daniel Whalen is punting some absolute missiles during special teams segment right now. Bo Melton whooped a dude on punt coverage as a flyer/gunner. Would have been the kind of clean shot that gunners dream about, but he wisely let up. Daniel Whalen brought the old Billy Baru today. I don't know what that means. Last update, Savion is now on the sideline in shorts, clearly not doing anything the remainder of the day. Bo Melton and Nick Emanwari get into it after the play. There it is. Eversole with a list here. Offense in 7-on-7, red zone. Love check down to Jacobs, Emanwari all over it. Love incomplete to Golden on a crosser, Drake Thomas in coverage. Love overthrew Musgrave on a deep corner in the end zone. Love incomplete to Golden on an out in end zone, Woolen pass breakup. Love overthrew Nayer in end zone, who shook free from Woolen. It was there, throw wasn't bad, looked like a timing thing. DeAnthony Bell jumps a pass from Love to Kraft, nearly picked incomplete. Love complete to Musgrave on an out. Okay, so much for the keep him in a cast thing. That's a short-term thing. Let's get him out of the cast. Smith and Jigba having a day for Seahawks. 2 touchdowns in red zone, 7-on-7. You'd think he and Sam Darnold have played together for longer than a few months. Not like he's wide open, but dude just makes plays versus decent Packers coverage. Eagles wide receiver Johnny Wilson will miss the entire 2025 NFL season with a knee and ankle injury that requires surgery. Man, this is an epidemic this year. Packers receivers are all decimated. 49ers receivers are all decimated. Vikings receivers are all decimated. Eagles now seeing receivers going out. What the heck is going on here? Haddon with another pass breakup for the 2s in red zone 7-on-7 with a lot of hollering. Young cornerback looks to rebound from a tough game in Indy. Herman with some 7-on-7 coverage. Going to be a lot of overlap here, but it looks like there's a lot more. Jordan complete to Jacobs, couple incompletions in a row. Latest, a corner to Musgrave that went out of bounds. Now a pass breakup by Seattle and an attempt to Golden in the red zone. Finally a touchdown to who else? Tucker Kraft. Isaiah Nayer getting a 2 with the ones, just cooked Seattle's corner, but Love missed him in the back of the end zone. Pass breakup over the middle by Seattle. Love to Musgrave for a touchdown on a crosser. Love tries to force one over the middle to Heath, but it falls incomplete. A lot of traffic. Tosses one up to Golden, who tries to slow a spectacular one-handed catch, but can't come down with it. Pritchett breaks up a pass for Dobbs short of the end zone. Seattle's defense pretty dominant this period. Now Love tries to find Sims in another pass breakup by Seattle. Rough outing there for Green Bay's offense. Shaquille Griffin was the pass breakup on Sims. Seahawks dominated 7-on-7 with Jordan Love throwing the ball. Jordan Love completed 3 of 12 in red zone 7-on-7. One completion was a 13-yard touchdown to Kraft, and that was with Julian Love slipping in coverage. 8-yard touchdown to Musgrave. Good period for the Seahawks secondary. The one player on offense who was dominating, Tucker Kraft, just fumbled off a tight end screen. Seahawks recover. A drop for Jacobs on an out route. Fade from Willis to Dobbs, had him. Dobbs should have had it, can't come down with it. Oh my goodness. Really ugly right now for Green Bay's offense. Fumble and 2 drops. What the heck is going on? Packers were dominating both sides of the ball for a minute there. Jordan brought the energy down a little bit. Spofford with a couple here says, back to 11-on-11, now red zone, good sequence by Packers D versus the run. Valentine and Gary blow up an outside pitch, then Gary gets in the backfield on the next snap. Tough one-handed grab by Arroyo in the back of the end zone over Walker. A few plays later, the extracurriculars start on one end of the field, then the other. Wes Hodkowitz says, big skirmish in the red zone period between Seahawks and Packers. Malzahn says, huge brawl. Zach Tom just threw haymakers. Helmets flying off. Players on the ground. That escalated quickly. Schneidman says, fights on both sides of the field. As Bill Huber called it, patty cake. Javon Bullard and the Seahawks offensive line started the one where I'm watching. Can't see much since we're behind the Seahawks line and not allowed to move. Herman says, we have one of the bigger fights I've seen. Jenkins thrown to the ground. Tom throwing punches. Benches clear. Yikes. Ryan Wood says, Packers offense and Seahawks defense get into a fight during goal line drills. Zach Tom throwing punches at the Seahawks linebacker Ernest Jones IV, among other dust-ups. Both sidelines clear. Eversole says, major fight. Zach Tom and Ernest Jones at the center of it. Multiple punches thrown. Both sidelines cleared. Bunch of dudes wind up on the ground. Biggest one I've seen at joint practice here in the last several years. Rob Domofsky says, Zach Tom had enough of getting knocked to the ground and after some discussion came up throwing haymakers at a couple Seahawks, Devon Witherspoon and Ernest Jones. I did see the video of it. Looked like there was a lot of conversation, like a huge group of Packers and Seahawks. And Zach Tom comes flying into the screen, like literally jump punching. He gets airborne, comes out and starts swinging at guys. Herman says, cooler heads prevail and we're back to our regular scheduled practice. Never mind, after a couple plays, a lot more punches thrown. This is bad. Yeah, but as long as nobody's hurt, I kind of love it. I'm sure they're going to end practice. Malzahn says, another huge fight between Packers and Seahawks. Rookie offensive lineman Anthony Belton squaring up and throwing punches. Atta boy. Belton's going to get in trouble. This is going to be like Quay Walker all over again. Got to be smart. You got all the penalties, and then you come back doing this kind of stuff. It's one thing if you're a paid guy like Zach Tom. It's another thing when you're a backup second-round pick. But again, I don't freaking care. Dude's a monster. Just starts smacking people. Spofford just comes in. Smith and Jigbo with another touchdown. Eversole says, another fight. Anthony Belton was looking for it. Wasn't involved initially, but legit looked like a boxer, squaring up, threw fists, threw a dude on the ground. Looked like Seahawks defensive tackle Anthony Campbell. Yeah, at least I can't say pick on someone your own size because even at 6'6", 307 pounds, he's still not Anthony Belton's size, but that's about as good as he's going to find. Ryan Wood says a second fight breaks out. Messiah Swinson exchanging punches with Seahawks nose tackle J.R. Singleton. Anthony Belton exchanges punches with defensive tackle Anthony Campbell. A little MMA out here at Ray Nitschke Field. I appreciate that. It's not over. We got another dust-up against the fence by the Resch Center. Fans sitting there getting a front-row MMA seat. Belton was throwing hooks this time. Jason Wilde's perspective, not one but two Packers offense, Seahawks defensive fights at this end of the field. Tight end Messiah Swinson involved in both. Some might say he needed saving during the second one, and Anthony Belton came in throwing punches. Multiple guys on the ground, fun. See, I just respect it all the more now. Belton saw his dude getting jumped and went in there and took care of it. Now, Brandon McManus misses a field goal off the post. Been that sort of day for Green Bay so far. And just missed another. What the heck is going? Just end this, dude. This is enough of this. Barring a setback, Shedeur Sanders will play in Saturday's season finale. That'll be exciting. Wonder what time that is. I want to check that out if I can. McManus goes 3 for 5 on field goals, hits the left upright from 49 left, short from 55 right. McManus good from 38, 45, and 54 right. He is now 70 of 76 since the start of camp. Luke Musgrave with a really nice catch over the Seahawks defender from Malik Willis during 11-on-11. Malik Willis with an absolute dot on the sideline to Tucker Kraft, who continues to have himself a stellar day. Spofford is just watching Jackson Smith and Jigba all day. He says, there's that guy again, JSN over the middle to start move the ball period. Barner moves the change with snag despite tight coverage from Walker. Diving Bullard just misses double pass to JSN. Misses middle pass to JSN, who makes a sliding catch. Holding call pushes Seattle back. Then Charbonnet gets a seam. Cheesehead TV says Malik Willis is on fire today. Eversol, Willis rolls right, finds Musgrave for a big gain. Willis then finds Kraft for a big gain on the right side. Suck, throw, and catch from Willis to Musgrave down the left sideline for 40 over Woolen. the autofill features, or the I don't know if it's voice to text or what, but some of them are pretty hilarious. Suck, throw. Got a suck throw out there, folks. Here's Herman breaking that series down. Willis buys time, rolls right, and somehow finds Luke Musgrave on a really impressive throw. It seems Zach Tom has been benched, but for Anthony Belton, who is also throwing punches, ... I guess Belton's still out there, I don't know. Another big play for Tucker Kraft down the right sideline. Wow play. Willis finds Musgrave deep down the sideline, an absolute dime over good coverage. Into the outstretched arms of Musgrave. Beautiful play. Tell you what, that's another one. I mean, I'm as skeptical as anybody, but my man Musgrave, he's not looking terrible. If he can just stay healthy, he might be all right. Can you imagine? And I know I'm asking way too much here, and there's no way this is going to happen, but can you even imagine a team that is healthy, that has Jordan Love healthy, Josh Jacobs, Christian Watson healthy, Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave healthy, and Matthew Golden? I'm asking too much. I'm just asking too. I shouldn't even say things like that. Kay Adams says it was the biggest fight she's ever seen. Looking through her feed real quick. 20 people have stopped me in Green Bay to ask how Aaron Jones is. Has there ever been a player who changed teams within a division who is more universally beloved by both fan bases? I can't think of one. Malik Willis with a really nice deep throw to Musgrave, who makes a back behind the shoulder catch. Unfortunately, comes back due to a holding call. Oh, you bastards. Is that Belton again? You freaking beautiful giant human being. Packers tight ends having a day this joint practice. Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave look real sharp. Ryan Wood says Luke Musgrave also having a big day, just mossed Seahawks cornerback Tariq Woolen for about 35 yards down the right sideline. Woolen just sat there on his knees in disbelief after the highlight catch. Confirmation Anthony Belton is in with the right tackles right now. Takeaways so far from Zach Cruz. Kraft and Musgrave doing big things. Jackson Smith and Jigba cooking the Packers defense. Willis to Hardman for another really nice pickup. Willis is having a great day. Tries Heath for a back shoulder, but good coverage. Heath tries to make a one-hander, but couldn't come up with it. Screen to Jacobs for a nice pickup. Saw that play, by the way. You can really see up close and personal the benefit of having tight ends. I mean, it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to see it. I mean, if this is a wide receiver, this is probably a pick. But he's so much bigger. I mean, when you talk about mossing a guy, when you're a tight end, it's just not fair. It's like having an older brother when you're, 7 and they're 12. You know what I mean? It's like the ball was underthrown, defender stops, comes back for it, and he just very easily reaches over and grabs it. Like, nope, I got that. It's just not fair. John Harbaugh did confirm that Lamar is okay after an X-ray. Eversol with the list. Why don't we take a break? I was thinking camp was about to end pretty soon, so we just ride it out. But why don't we just take a break right here? We'll be right back. Ones versus ones with everyone watching. 1:30 left, down 7 on the 30. False start for the Packers, 1st and 15. Willis to Kraft, short gain, I thought incomplete. Golden drop over the middle. I don't even want to read this anymore. 3rd and 11, Josh Joby pass breakup on Golden. 4th and 11, Willis converts to Heath over the middle. Another false start. I'm going to frickin' beat somebody. I'm going to tie a football on the end of a hockey stick and just beat somebody with it. Heath opened deep down the left sideline. Willis overthrew him. Looked like Heath slowed down. Tough to tell. Incomplete to Hicks. 3rd and 15. Shirley sacked. Eventually Willis finds Musgrave for a big gain. End of period. Andy Herman covering the same thing. I won't go through everything, but Jenkins and Tom were not in on this drive. It was Golden on the first false start. Green Bay tried to get down and spike the ball, but it was an illegal formation, 1st and 15. That's a little bit easier to stomach, I guess. But despite that seeming to be a first down, they decided to end it. I'm guessing because they determined it was a sack, and they just let it play out, but it was a sack, so they're not going to continue it. But I don't know. Wes Hodkowitz, Luke Musgrave has been unreal today. They cut number 1, 2-minute, but Willis had a long completion to Heath on 3rd down. And another 3rd and 15 for Musgrave. Sonilla says Musgrave and Kraft have been absolutely on fire today. Definitely going to be a crazy 1-2 punch this season for the offense. Patriots wide receiver Jalen Polk will miss the entire 2025 season due to a shoulder injury that requires surgery. What the heck is going on? Number 1 defense up now. Incomplete on 1st down. Good coverage. Darnold to Jackson Smith and Jigba over the middle. He's torched Green Bay's secondary today. Also a penalty on the Packers' defense to stop the clock. Incomplete short. Sack by the Packers' defense. Would say that one was a coverage sack. Looks like it might have been a hold on Seattle. 2nd and 20. Evan Williams picks off Darnold on a deep ball to Jackson Smith and Jigba. Defense wins. Evan Williams has also kind of been picking it up a little bit. Not that he was ever doing poorly, but it was very quiet to start things off, which is normal for a safety. You're not doing much. You're just, if nobody's throwing in your direction, that's a good thing. Maybe you make some tackles or whatever. I think that's been a couple now for Evan Williams. Huber says Evan Williams with a sensational interception of Darnold to Jackson Smith and Jigba in 2-minute. Highlight of the day for the number 1 defense. Sonilla says Evan Williams with a leaping interception off Sam Darnold during 2-minute. First defense finally stops JSN in 2-minute. That's Spofford, who's just been glazing that guy all day. Deep shot on 2nd and 20 after holding penalty is picked off by Evan Williams, swooping over from center field. Ryan Wood says hell of a play from Evan Williams in 2 minutes, shifting over from center field to intercept Sam Darnold bomb to Jackson Smith and Jigba down the right sideline. Williams went up and won the football in the air. Entire Packers sideline, including Jordan Love, celebrates with the safety. I guess it was Sean Ryan at center, by the way, in place of Jenkins. Packers mobbed Evan Williams and let the Seahawks hear it after the pick. Can't say what he said, but let's just say Devin Witherspoon felt disrespected by the celebration. Now we got presumably the Packers 3s out there, 2s if you don't count Jordan. 1:30 left, down 2, 1 timeout. Clifford at quarterback, 1st and 10 on their own 30. Incomplete 1st down. Clifford to Nair down the deep left sideline, incomplete. Clifford, good ball to Baker, but he drops it. Clifford deep to Hicks, too far behind to make an adjustment. Incomplete, defense wins. Well, that sucks. Looks like on that interception play as well, there was also what appears to be a sack, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, that would be Warren Brinson. It's hard to tell. The video's super grainy and whatnot, but it looks like he was lined up inside, and it looks like the second number is a 1, which would be Warren Brinson, who's a 91. Yeah, and Eli Berkovich just said Warren Brinson abused that left guard, so it kind of seems to agree with me on that assessment. Ari Mirov, this is good. All NFL stadiums will be installing a dozen 4K cameras along the sidelines, goal lines, and back lines of end zones, giving officials additional angles for instant replay rulings. I appreciate that. Just getting stuff right. It might slow things down a little bit if they have more cameras to work through, but, get it right. Sportsmanship is a point of emphasis for the NFL officials this season, the league's Walt Anderson says. Oh, come on with that stupid bull crap. Jeez. So not only are they going to be, obviously continuing to flag that, but that means they're going to be, when it's a point of emphasis, especially early on, Any little celebration, they're going to be going nuts. What an absolutely stupid league this is. The NFL is so freaking stupid. Packers and Seahawks huddle together at the end of joint practice. No punches thrown this time. Training camp ends with Inigbare's sack to end backup's 2-minute drill. A long joint practice between Packers and Seahawks comes to an end. Ryan Wood says some chirping between Packers and Seahawks as Seattle walks off the field after practice, but nothing escalates. So funny seeing the different people doing different stuff. You got some guys that are just screaming, kind of a little space in between. Seahawks guys screaming, some Packer guys screaming. People in the middle trying to calm everybody down. And then you got some players just sneaking around, Packers players sneaking over to the Seahawks side, giving high fives to their buddies and stuff. It's such a funny environment. A lot of jawing after practice between Seahawks and Packers. Looked like Elton Jenkins wanted to stand on business and went to say a few words before the teams got broken up. Schneidman says, another skirmish well after practice. Elton in the middle, and LaFleur was not happy at Jenkins. Leonard Williams told Nate Hobbs he didn't know who he was, and Keyshawn Nixon told somebody they're talking crazy for a bald person, and that's how training camp ends. Elton Jenkins walked back after practice with 2 members of the strength and conditioning team. That's why he got yelled at. He got himself hurt. Derek Hall of the Seahawks was heard saying, "You come looking for me, you're going to find me, you punk bleep." Well, I'm guessing their plane isn't for quite a while yet, so there's time if you really want to make it happen. Now, Ari Mirov says the NFL says sportsmanship is a point of emphasis for NFL officials this season. Flags will be thrown. There's no place in the game to be standing over your opponent. There's no place in the game to have a violent gesture. That's not the game of football. Yes, it is! Do you not even know what sport you're putting on here? Do you not know what this is? You don't know how this works? What do you think your sport is? I'm just beyond curious what you think the NFL is. Is this a beauty pageant? She is beauty, she is grace. We're just gliding down the field gracefully and beautifully. Be gentle, be nice, be soft. Now, that's not nice. I know. He got paid up millions and millions of dollars to grab that quarterback and slam him into the ground. That's what we paid for. That's why I pay for this, to watch it on television. I would love to know what they want the finished product to be on the field. It seems to me that in their mind, it's just a skill game. I mean, it really should just be 7-on-7 and flag football. We don't need offensive and defensive lines. They don't provide anything. Why do we need people protecting the quarterback from being smoked when we don't like the quarterback being hit anyways? And running the ball is freaking boring. So we'll just do 7-on-7, and it'll just be like the red zone drill. Either you score or you don't, but there's no need for tackling. In fact, we'll run it like a practice where you're not actually supposed to bring anybody to the ground. You can push them out of bounds if they come up short, but nobody is to go to the ground or we'll throw a flag. I mean, is that what you want it to be? Because that's not what I want it to be. I don't think that's what most football fans want it to be. So stop trying to make it that, please, because we don't want to watch that. Nobody wants to watch that. If that's what you want to do, there's a rising flag football league thing happening. It's becoming more popular, especially with the Olympics talking about it. How about Roger Goodell and the rest of these douchebags in New York go work for the Flag Football League and see if you can make that great? And let somebody that actually appreciates the NFL for what it is run the NFL. I understand that your main focus is to make money. I can understand that. I can appreciate that. But don't screw up the game in the process. If you can't do that, if you're so singularly focused on just protecting your investments, making sure that the NFL in no way is objectionable to anybody, so that it appeals to everybody, which, as I'm sure most people, aside from Roger Goodell and his team, already know, if you appeal to everybody, you appeal to nobody. Anyways, all right. Why don't we go ahead and leave it at that? Good day today. It got a little sloppy for a while. Sounds like they came out hot, ended on a strong note. Penalties and drops started cropping up out of nowhere, missed kicks. It's one of those weird things, man. When it starts, it just kind of snowballs, which is what I think happened in that preseason game that everybody panicked about. It's just a weird infection that travels across the locker room. I don't know how it happens, but it happens. But very excited. Excited and slightly sad. I don't want to be a spoiled brat here, but not having football for like 2 weeks is a little sad to have that taken away from you. But when it comes back, it's coming back with a frickin' vengeance. Plus, again, the schedule will be, we've got the preseason. We're going to talk about the preseason. I don't remember even what day we're leaving. I think it's Wednesday or possibly I think it's Wednesday. I don't know. I never know anything, man. Dates just creep up on me. Like the fantasy football thing, I had somebody reach out like, are you doing that? I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm doing it. And then it dawned on me. I was like, holy crap, man, this should have been done by now. My kid's birthday, my wife was asking me about it. I'm like, I know what I'm getting him. She's like, did you get it yet? I'm like, no, I know what I'm getting him, though. And then I looked, and it's like, oh, dude, his birthday is less than a week away. How did that even happen? And his sister's birthday is a week after that, so I got to get her something. And it's probably got to be, well, she's little. She doesn't care. I was going to say, the thing I got, okay, I don't know if none of you tell him, okay? I got him a signed Matthew Golden jersey. Since he did it again, and his favorite guy, the guy that he pulled for, got drafted by the Packers. I think it's a tradition. Every time he aces it, we'll do it next year too in the draft. If he has a favorite player and that guy gets drafted by the Packers, automatic, he gets a signed jersey no matter what. So, but I don't think, I mean, she's not going to care, dude. Get her something expensive, she won't even appreciate it. She doesn't care about price. She's too young to care about price tags. I'm talking myself into going to like the dollar store and getting her a doll. I'm serious. She wouldn't care. She'd love it. It's the best thing. I get her 5 of them. She'll appreciate it more than my son will appreciate that jersey. But anyways, we're going to head out. When we come back, we're going hard and heavy regular season stuff. So we're switching our programming up a little bit, and I am excited about that. So, yeah, that's it. I'm out of here. You guys have a good rest of your day. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.